What's going on? All you movie lover badasses out there. That Phat Samurai Guy is here with Lady Phatblood, and holy shit, we got Lee be Golden.
What?
He be Golden.
What?
Up in the house.
Huh?
Well, welcome, my brother.
Who's Lee B. Golden? Who is this guy? Where am I? What is this place?
Welcome to another episode of the Verbal Nectar podcast. The ridiculous name brought to you by ridiculous people. That's right. Not you. You rock, my brother. But thank you for joining us on the podcast where we love talking about movies and cinema. And I know they're the same damn thing. Okay? I don't care. I like saying both. Damn it.
All right. I'll let you have it.
So,
Preston knows all the best words.
So for those out there that are new to the channel, that are watching, that are listening right now, you want to tell them a little bit about yourself, you are free to do so.
My name is Lee B. Golden III. I was born and raised in New York City. I'm a New York City native, and I'm the founder and editor of FilmCombatSyndicate.com. I launched that website, or blog rather, on Google's Blogger platform in 2013. And I got a bit of a facelift through a friend of a friend, and I'm on my own little WordPress platform, and we've sort of advanced a bit. I have a few contributors. We cover genre films. My own trajectory in terms of coverage stems from my friendships within the stunt community. Every 2 weeks, I post a thing called the Hit List, which is a column I write every 2 Mondays, hosting stunt reels and short films, mainly action genre of different varieties like drama, sci-fi, suspense, thrillers, crime, things like that. I'm geared toward independent filmmakers and creatives. I've been so since around 2005, 2006, when I started taking notice of independent stunt teams creating their own short films and movies. Teams like Zero Gravity, the Stunt People, Jabroni Pictures, filmmakers like Vlad Rimberg, Eric Jacobus, like that. And I've been addicted ever since. And
Yes.
I've had to work my way up a bit through life's different struggles and hurdles and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I am where I am today. I put in the work, and I'm still putting the work, and I'll never stop putting in the work as long as I have working thumbs and a smartphone and a dream.
That's right. And they can find you on Facebook. This guy.
On Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter.
That's right. Just look up Film Combat Syndicate. Make sure you guys check it out. It's very informative. And Lee, I have to give you some credit, sir. Not only are you an intelligent man, but you are just very just well-versed and knowledgeable. You have a huge wealth of knowledge that we respect when it comes to the action and the martial arts genre. And your reviews are on point. And we follow you but how did you find us again? Because it's been so long. We've been social media buddies for a while. So do you remember the first video you came across and you were like, who are these two knuckleheads?
Jesus. Do we want to
Yes.
I think prior to when I first met you, I was harassed by an Australian filmmaker who made a film called The Ninja something.
The Ninja, the Immovable Heart?
That garbage shit movie, yeah.
The movie I gave 0 stars. I gave that 0 stars on the Movie Dojo, by the way.
The one you obliterated to frick. And I DM'd you on Twitter to talk to you about that, about how shit it is, and I told you what happened. I think you're following me on Twitter. I think that's how I was able to DM you about that. And I guess we sort of just got a rapport going, and then I added you on Facebook. I added Lady Phatblood, and I've enjoyed your channel ever since, and I'm glad you enjoy my website.
Yeah, man, we really appreciate your support. I mean, you've been supporting us for several years now, as well as we support you as well. We try to share blogs and trailers when we can, and the things that you
And
post, I try to share on my That Phat Samurai Guy page when I can, because there's so much we're doing. We're crazy busy. You're crazy busy, but
oh yeah,
we try to represent. We got to represent the genre that we love, martial arts and action cinema, and yeah, you thank God for people like you for being out there on the front line, spreading the word, letting everybody know, hey, y'all ain't got to settle for fucking. Give me a bad martial arts action movie.
Scorpion.
Scorpion.
Sorry, it was too fresh and raw.
You'll hear a review of Scorpion very soon, but
okay, okay.
Rush Hour 3. Rush Hour 3. You don't have to settle for Rush Hour 3, and that's the greatest martial arts film out there in the mainstream theaters. You don't have to settle for that.
No,
We got so many badass martial arts and action films from all countries around the world. And you point people in the right direction, and we try to when we can, when we get time to post shit. But we're busy with work, which is usual, nothing new. And you're busy as well, but we do what we can. We got to represent, be on the front lines, and let people know, hey, you don't have to. Hey, you liked Extraction? Extraction was pretty badass. It had some badass action in it, right? Do you want to see the origin of that? Well, check out these movies called the Raid films. Rewind a little bit. You know what I mean? Go back and check these out.
Or if you want to check out the origins, check out Sam Hargrave and his history with Real Kick, because that's how I found out about him through his work in the early 2000s. He had partners like Tim Storm and what's this guy's name? He was in Fast and Furious 4 or Furious 5, I think. Fernando Chen and Tim Storm and Sam Hargrave and his wife Monique Ganderton. They were all Real Kick people at the time. When I discovered him per se, they did some great work, and I've followed Sam Hargrave since then.
And you're really knowledgeable. You really know these stunt guys by name and all that stuff.
I'm trying to.
Well, you know what we do? You know what we do? We go, hey, it's that guy from that movie. Yeah, that guy's awesome.
I'm feeling attacked here.
What do you mean? Talking about? I do the same thing. Come on. But do you know, because of the success of Extraction, do you know if Sam is going to do more films? Have you heard anything?
I'm hearing what everyone else is hearing. Because I read the trades. I stick to the trades, and I do try to get some insider info, even though it's a rarity that I find anything out raw. And even if I do, I don't report on it right away, unless I get the go ahead. But there is a likelihood that he may direct the sequel, but time will tell. Time will tell, because things always change.
Yeah.
Things are constantly in flux, especially nowadays with the way this year's turned out.
Yeah.
With the Rona and, all this other garbage out there.
Yeah.
But we'll see how things pan out. But he's, for a first time, filmmaker, after so many years of doing stunts, Sam is off to a great start with Extraction.
Yeah, we really enjoyed that movie. The plot was very simple to follow and simplistic, but who gives a shit? I mean, we were perfectly fine with the plot being simple and easy to follow. Yeah. It was all about the ride, the stuff.
And you know something? I didn't mind that there wasn't this comedic banter. Like, there were people on Twitter, complaining, like, how come you couldn't do more with the kid? Shut the fuck up.
It wasn't that kind of a movie, you idiot. Wasn't that who?
They're constantly getting pursued and shot at. Kind of prevents quippy banter.
Yeah, go watch Rush Hour 3.
Yes, there you go.
Jesus.
Or don't. But yeah. I mean, we really enjoyed Extraction. It was a kick-ass ride. It was fun. And we don't really see a lot of movies with that quality of action in the mainstream cinema. It's very rare. We get the John Wick movies once in a while, but hopefully we'll get to see more of that. On the small screen, Netflix, or the big screen. Hopefully in the future. But
there's been a small uptick in terms of the improvement on action. I liked how the action was shot in Sucker Punch. Ninja Assassin was okay, even though it was a bit shaky. It was stylish, and it kept up with the action as much as it could at times. And even 300 was great.
Yeah.
So
they're out there. They're out there. You just have to find them.
It's Hollywood is slowly but surely coming to itself when it comes to action. I think the implementation of Chad Stahelski and David Leitch on the first John Wick film helped set a pace, and then it sort of followed suit with Deadpool, director Tim Miller, and having guys like what's his name, Philip Silvera, doing the action. It looks really great. Silvera did the action for I think the first and second season of Daredevil on Netflix.
Ooh.
And Silvera also did the action for. He also did the action for the most recent Terminator film.
Wow.
So
cool. It's out there. You just got to know. You just got to know how to find what.
No, so I was drawing a blank. But go ahead.
Oh no, that's fine. No, they're out there. You just have to know where to look and where to find it. But what do you think about the Old Guard coming to Netflix? That trailer looked pretty cool. What do you think of that?
I'm looking forward to it. I have nothing to naysay about it. I'm looking. I love Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
She was great in Fury Road, and she's a great actress in general.
Are we getting Atomic Blonde 2? Is that definitely confirmed coming to Netflix, or we don't know?
Well, when I think Deadline first reported that last month. So as far as what I've read, then it's happening unless otherwise noted going forward. So.
Okay, cool.
As always, we'll see.
Yeah.
I do know that David Leitch and his wife are attached to produce a film called Kate. That's another action thriller. Nothing's happened there. There's a whole lot of projects out there that are announced for development, and these things, they take time.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm looking forward to it. And when I saw the trailer for The Old Guard, I was like, this looks pretty badass. But the first thing I thought about when the trailer was over was, I think this is what fans of Bloodshot was hoping it would have been.
I haven't seen Bloodshot yet.
Yeah. It's very similar, though, in tone, except Old Guard looks like, they're not being pussies about being PG-13. But we are here to talk about two R-rated films, fuck PG-13 and Rush Hour 3. We are here to talk about...
You'll never live this down.
You ruined Henry Sonata, damn it. You ruined Henry Sonata. Anyway.
I fucking love Henry Sonata. I can't wait to see him in Mortal Kombat, but anyway, go ahead.
We were just talking about that. We just watched the animated film, and it was pretty kick-ass. But we were just talking about, is the Mortal Kombat live-action project, is that still coming? Is that still happening? With Joe Taslim as Sub-Zero and... Oof.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed, man.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
By a first-time director, no less.
Ouch.
That's either good or bad. We'll find out, right?
We'll find out. We'll find out. I've waited more than 20 years, as many of the rest of us.
Yeah.
So,
hopefully we get was it Sam Hardgrave? What's his name?
Hargrave.
Hopefully it's a Sam Hardgrave experience, not a David S. Goyer experience.
Oh, God, I don't want to hear that name ever again. David freaking Goyer. Good God. Blade Trinity can suck a donkey's dick, I swear.
And I just filmed the video today where we talk about the Blade films, so stay tuned. Yeah.
Okay.
Stay tuned. Yes. Anyway,
I hope you roasted the shit out of Blade Trinity.
unfortunately, it's a long video, but oh well. Just have it on in the background while you're doing shit. Just have it on the background.
Cool.
Whatchamacallit? But yeah, let's talk about these two pleasant surprises, these two R-rated, badass, fun, hilarious action films, almost like a throwback to the good old days. And and it's not a buddy cop, but it's more of like it's the thuggish ruggish versus gangsters, basically, kind of thing. And pleasantly surprised with The Debt Collector, which came out in 2018, directed by Jesse B. Johnson, who we're becoming more fans of this guy. It's just growing. We're becoming bigger fans, slowly becoming bigger fans of this guy. I mean, we love the Isaac Florentines. We love the William Kaufmans. I mean, there's a lot of them out there. But right now, in my opinion, I don't know about yours, but in my opinion, Jesse V. Johnson is kind of like the #1 named director for this style of action film.
He's the current champion.
Yes.
He delivers a certain aesthetic in his films that definitely speaks to the nostalgia of most action fans today, the fans of Charles Bronson and Chuck Norris, things like that, fans of B-market action films, or William Friedkin, directors like him.
Yes.
Yeah,
we loved Avengement. I still have, right?
Yeah.
It's really good. We still have not seen Mercenary yet. We did purchase it to support the filmmakers involved. We have not watched Mercenary yet, but the trailer looked like there would be some badass action in it, at least. But let's talk about something that, we were like, oh, Scott Adkins film. We didn't know Jesse V. Johnson was involved at first or anything. And we're just like, oh, this is Scott Adkins movie on Netflix. We're bored. It either could go great for, it either could go great for Netflix Scott Adkins movie or bad.
And
it's a hit or miss.
Right.
It's gone horribly wrong.
And I'd like to just throw it out one more time. If you have missed our podcast discussion about it, I'm just going to throw it out one more time. Fuck Abduction. Abduction can go fuck itself up the ass. All right. Now, have you seen that yet?
I have not heard great things about it yet. And I have not seen it yet.
Do you like your badass Scott Adkins character to stutter the whole movie? Does that sound like fun?
It depends on the creative vision. But
creative vision.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It depends on the vision and how it's executed.
Creative vision. Oh shit. Okay, we're back. Sorry. Skull, my friend. Cheers to you for joining us today. We popped in The Debt Collector. Well, we pushed the damn button to watch it.
Yeah.
And immediately we're like, oh shit, we got Scott Adkins up in the damn dojo. These guys are coming in, asking him to do shit, wanting money from him, and he kicks their ass. I love the dialogue because I like how the guy's trying to punk him, and he goes, are you challenging me right now? Because he won't take his shoes off. He's stepping on the mat. Scott Adkins like, hey man, you need to take your shoes off. You know what I'm saying? And then we can talk business. And the guy's all like, oh, you're going to come at me? What did he say? Do you remember? He's like...
like a kung fu movie?
Yeah.
And then French says, yeah, like a fucking kung fu movie.
Yeah, it's fucking great. I was like, all right, I'm already loving this movie. And then the fight breaks out, filmed really well. I was like, here's Jesse doing this thing. And Michael Paré or Paré?
I'm hearing Paré. I kept calling him Paré all these years, but it's Paré, I believe.
Yeah. Fans of his work from Streets of Fire or On Fire?
On Fire.
Streets of Fire.
Yeah. And Bad Moon, which is one of my favorite werewolf films. I really enjoyed him in that film. He's basically the werewolf. But it didn't really seem like he did like any action in this movie, did he? He was just kind of there having fun.
Yeah.
Even though he was in the gi, he didn't really do anything. He was just sitting on the side eating some fruit. But it's always good to see him, though. It's always good to see him.
He's a solid actor.
Yeah, yeah. But let's go ahead and I will hand it over to you, my friend, to discuss a little bit more about the plot of the Debt Collector. Are we doing spoilers? Fuck it, let's do spoilers for both movies. Is that okay?
Well, not
Okay.
Not the second
the
one.
The second one just got released.
Okay,
so,
okay.
yeah.
So just the first one, not the second one.
Yeah, let's.
Okay.
We can just go basic. The second one will have to have a slight spoiler because of the end of the first one, but obviously because there is a sequel.
Right.
With the ending of the first one.
Okay, so no spoilers for the second one.
Yeah.
We'll talk about if you can just for those that are listening and watching right now that are unaware of what the plot is, if you could just give us the basic plot, sir.
The Debt Collector stars Scott Adkins as a struggling MMA school owner. He's pretty much out on a limb. He's got bills to pay. He's about to get kicked out of his place. He needs money real fast. He's a former soldier, desperate for cash, and he turns to his friend, Michael Pare, who reluctantly offers him a job with a gangster named Tommy, played by Vladimir Coolidge. Tommy partners French with Sue, a former boxer and former B-movie actor who now collects debts for Tommy. And Sue and Tommy are like, imagine two fists bumping, they're close, they're like this.
Yeah.
So day one, French, he has to wear a suit, just for birthday impressions.
Yeah.
And their work relationship is rough at first.
Right.
They kind of butt heads at times. They're an odd couple, French is one way, Sue's another. One of my favorite lines from Sue is, he says, a moral compass is like a pinless hand grenade. So that's one of the lines he throws at French to sort of pepper him up for the job on hand. They have three spots to collect money from for Tommy, and so the whole day is spent with just going from one spot to another. And French, he's putting his feet to the fire. He's
yeah.
He's getting his ass kicked.
He's getting his ass kicked. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out a good way to put this. I'm more eloquent in my writing than I am in my speaking, so forgive me. But yeah, that day was a good, first day, more or less. The suit's ruined, obviously. He's got holes here.
I love that. Throughout the movie, the suit gets worse.
Yeah, and Sue got laid, so that was fun. So that was a good first day, and pretty much the next time Sue and French are rejoined, they head over to Tommy's, and they go, the three of them, Tommy, Sue, and French, they go over to a gangster's mansion. His name is Barbosa. Barbosa, he's looking for this guy who's apparently done something wrong. He's wronged him somehow. But there's a bigger plot at hand that nobody really knows about. And all it's really going to take for the truth to come out is for Sue and French to just make the trips they need to make to find out where this guy is. Right. And from there on, you sort of get the crux of what the film is all about in terms of its overall narrative and aesthetic. Like the whole film takes place in, I think, LA, and it's this sort of fictionalized, sort of seedy underbelly where there's rarely a good guy, and that's sort of what they're getting every time they interrogate somebody. No, you don't want to you don't want him. He's a good guy. It's this girl who's always harassing him and giving him trouble. One thing leads to another. They find the guy. Next thing you know, there's a big old shootout, and Sue and French are sort of left for dead. They sort of scatter, and they're both presumed dead. but the guy's life is saved. The guy's daughter is saved. Cut to the sequel. Apparently, they're still alive. Sue and French. French is this is like some 6 or 7 months later after the events of the first film. French is a bouncer at a shitty bar, sort of regretting his past choices. And Sue, he's sort of this reformed, recovering alcoholic with a newfound lease on life. And it's in the sequel that not only do they exhibit that they've become this sort of opposites of each other. It really does put their friendship to the test.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happens is Sue finds him at the bar, and suddenly French is without a job after a big old bar fight. And so now they have to go to Las Vegas to collect debts from 3 spots. One being Sue's former lover, played by Marina Sirtis from Star Trek: The Next Generation.
She was gangsta.
Oh, she was.
Well, before we go forward, let's rewind a little bit with about back to the first film. How it's always fun seeing Tony Todd. Tony Todd is always a welcome. He's always badass. He's always intimidating. And, the fight scenes, the fight choreography is just really well done, brutal, a lot of fun to watch. Sue putting on the brass knucks, taking dudes out is a lot of fun. And you do have that comedic element that grows between them. But then you have these few subtle moments throughout the movie that kind of like, we both looked at each other, we're like, oh. And like you have that, because you have the, kind of like the buddy, thuggish, rugged.
It's peeling back the layers of their characters to get them to make more. And they're connecting.
Like you have that one scene where when I talk about that scene where they're both sitting in the car.
Well, they're obviously, because of their differing personalities and the differing reasons why they're in the business that they're currently in, they're very antagonistic towards each other, Sue and French are. And you have this scene where French is kind of like picking at Sue a little bit, assuming that he knows all there is to know about Sue and that he's just this alcoholic and, he's just this terrible person that just drinks. And Sue kind of just like spills his guts.
He drinks and he cares the most about his luxury coupe de ville. Watch the white walls.
That's right.
Watch the fucking white walls.
That's right.
That's right. But Sue kind of like in this quiet moment spills the beans that, he was married once and he had this little girl and she died. And, and it you can tell how much it crushes him that you just to think about that, and he's, just really subtle moment from Mandalore. Yeah. Where he's just
good acting.
Yeah,
really good performance. And then with that scene where he's kind of showing how vulnerable he is and letting Scott Adkins' character know about his past and the tragedy he's gone through. So they stop talking shit about him. Jesse slowly zooms into the car window, during that scene. And that was a very well done scene. And that helped balance the movie. Besides the comedy and the fisticuffs, we did have some emotional content. There's vulnerability, there's stakes, there are layers, and that's what makes characters like these interesting.
Yeah, and again by the second half of the film, that moral compass that you're not supposed to have, they end up kind of getting it because of what you end up finding out is that this person that they're going after, that Barbossa sent them after, that has somehow wronged him somehow. Well, it's not what it seems. And it's basically one of Barbossa's women has kind of like turned him, has kind of turned this guy, into like this monstrous villain or whatever, kind of lied. It's kind of even hard to tell exactly what she said about him, but Barbossa wants this guy dead, essentially. And
The thing is, she was obsessed with wanting to be with him, and she couldn't have that because he wouldn't let her.
Right.
So
Right.
she got all vindictive and lied about him to
Yeah.
Barbosa. And he's like, let's kill this motherfucker, you know?
right.
Yeah.
And I think it was even like he thought he stole from him, or so, it was like all this
Yeah.
different crap. And we'll come to find out he's just this guy who fell in love with this dancer and had a daughter, but the girl that he fell in love with died. And so now the guy's going against their better judgment, especially Sue, because Sue's been in the business longer. You know,
Yeah.
they decide to kind of like, oh, well, shit, you know, what's the right thing to do here?
Sue's more keen on survival.
Right.
Yeah.
But against his better judgment, he also, especially probably because of that incentive that there is now a child involved, you kind of harken back to the fact that he's lost a child.
Yeah.
You know, possibly it's, you know, you can read into that if you want. It's not stated by any means or anything like that, but you could possibly read into it if you wanted to. That, you know, he wants to protect these two people. And I'm sorry, but Sue died. I'm just gonna, I have to put this out there. Sue died. You could, you know, it's pretty.
That was dancing on the back of your brain the whole time, wasn't it?
He like, we watched it again right before we watched the second film. Because I remember him dying.
Yeah.
And I remember it being pretty clear that Scott probably died, that French probably died.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, they're making a sequel with both of them? Well,
Yeah.
I have no problem with them bringing back Louis Mandylor and Scott Adkins, because if Jesse V. Johnson wants to dedicate the rest of his career to making movies with those two men, I will watch every single fucking movie he makes if those two men are in it, because I love their chemistry together. They could be the same characters, they could be different characters. I do not give a shit. Okay, I love them together.
Yeah.
I don't care. I will watch forever for the rest of my life. For as long as there are movies with those two in it, I will watch.
When I first heard there was going to be a sequel, I sort of imagined that this was going to be sort of an alternative universe where they were alive, even though
Right.
they clearly looked like they freaking died in the first film.
Yeah.
So,
Or was a dream sequence or something?
And they even and
anything.
And
Yeah.
there's only one thing aside from there being a sequel to kind of negate the ending, was there was like this kind of pretentious thing throughout the film, the first film only, with the cattle being led to slaughter throughout the movie. You get bits and pieces. You get cut out of nowhere at first. You keep getting cuts, hard cuts to cattle. At one point, you see just a cow in a field, and then you see the cow getting rounded up, and then you see it getting taken to the slaughterhouse, and eventually you kind of get, okay, I get where we're going, and then you see it getting, you know, killed with the prod and all that.
It gets grim.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get, and then you even have the scene at the end with the daughter and the dad. The daughter's asking the dad, do cows live a good life before they get killed for food? And the dad lies to her, yeah, I think so. And it's like,
we get the metaphor.
It's like, I get it.
Not alone, my friend. Dance song credits.
You know, it's like, I got it. But for that kind of a film, I just felt like those intercut scenes were just a little too pompous. I don't know. Was that just me?
I thought that like this film was going to get attacked by animal activists and stuff because of those things. It was grim.
Yeah, I mean the movie's still fun with it in there, but it didn't need it, and thankfully we didn't get any metaphors like that in the second film. So.
I think that was just sort of aimed to the, you know, old school action fans who didn't really care for PC filmmaking,
right,
or that sort of thing.
Yeah, but it's like it didn't distract us from enjoying the movie. We still enjoyed the film.
Not really, not at all. Yeah.
But we're glad it's not in the second one. It's like let's see the new adventures of Sue and Frenchie and see where they go. And
it's French. It's just French, as he would tell you.
Yeah.
Not French. Yeah. Not Mr. Red. It's just French.
But once they meet up in the sequel, I found it very hilarious, because at this point when the sequel started, I was like, oh, pumpkin, I can't wait to hear this bullshit explanation of how they're both alive, especially Sue, right? And I'm just sitting here with bated breath, and you get the scene when there's the barroom brawl, and French and Sue finally meet up, and I'm like, I'm waiting, and boy oh boy, they just got right to it, because I think they knew that if anybody had watched that first movie, they're probably like, okay, we better give these motherfuckers an explanation. So luckily we didn't have to wait too long for the explanation. Was it bullshit? Just a tad. Did I care? No, because I got to see Louis Mandylor and Scott Adkins on the screen together again, as they were destined to be, as they need to be forever for the rest of time.
All I want to know is who this big stacked, hefty-legged hottie that rescued Scott was. Like, he says there's some blonde chick who rescued him. I want to know who that was exactly. Like,
oh wow!
Legs.
Huh? I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah, there's like a little thing about that in the film.
She'll be in the third one.
I hope so. Shit.
Now, as much as we enjoyed the sequel, and it was just a great, the character development has grown with these two characters. And like you said, there is kind of a switcheroo of roles in this one, which isn't very interesting.
Character tropes and like perspectives, like they've changed some.
Yeah.
Where French is sort of adopted to that survival instinct, or as Sue calls it, you got a tone about you.
And Sue is kind of like a little bit of a pacifist at first too.
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
I'm done with the violence, and that just totally
pretty good impression
by the end of the film. Huh?
That's pretty good impression there. Did you think
these characters they kind of stuck with me? I really enjoyed the films to that extent, but yeah.
Did you feel that the main villain in the sequel was a little weak compared to maybe Tony Todd's presence from the first film? Was that guy
I didn't think he was weak at all, really. I kind of thought that his female co-star, the one who tortures Sue, I kind of thought she was too tiny for that big ass gun she holds at the end of the film. It's like
I was hoping
before she falls.
I was hoping something would happen to that character at the end, but I thought I don't know. I mean, the guy he seemed like he was a solid actor, and he did a good performance. But I don't know. I think he was a little bit too jokey. He seemed like a little too jokey.
Well, the thing is, he's Barbossa's brother, and I think it's good that he was a little jokey, because he's not supposed to be some carbon copy of Barbossa. Barbossa, right. Yes, he's dark and brooding, whereas this character, what's his name? I know it starts with
I forgot.
It starts with an M. Can one of you Google it?
Yeah, we're gonna fact check it right now. Keep talking. Keep talking.
Yeah, and he clearly, yes, they're related, but they're not supposed to be like similar in personalities. Part of what makes sequels interesting is that they don't stick to all of the same things that made the first film great. You get you keep things fresh, with a new villain. With a new way of thinking, but who's just as menacing to an extent. And that's exactly what we wanted him to be. Menacing, dangerous. He's conniving. He has an agenda. And it doesn't involve keeping people alive, for that matter. He's a criminal. He's got men willing to kill for him, and a femme fatale, sort of second in command, willing to tase your balls.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Well, trying to find him here. Molly.
Molly, yes, exactly. That's the character's name.
Yeah, solid performance. I thought he was solid.
I
just was getting tired of the jokes. It was just like, I don't know. To each his own. But the fights were again very well done and fun to watch in the second one. And without spoiling anything, I will say this: the fight in that little alleyway towards the end.
Yeah.
Between two people, I'm not going to say who. That was the best fight in the movie.
I think it was one of two of the best fights in the film. But
Yeah.
I do agree with you that it was certainly a hallmark moment in the film.
Very reminiscent to the alley fight in They Live.
Exactly.
It's kind of reminded me of that, which was awesome because we love that movie. But yeah, that was definitely one of the highlights. I do think, though, because Sue being a little bit of a pacifist in this one, I think the first movie had more action, though. What do you think? Not that this movie needed more, not that the sequel needed more action, but I think in terms of pacing, and they go to the next fight, the next fight, the next fight, the next. I think there was more fights.
I think it had just as many scenes, but I think it feels like there was more action because Sue's getting involved now. Like he wasn't fighting as much in the first film. Until in the first film, it's not until they're at that mansion and he's going up against the giant and his three goons, in that little driveway, and he breaks out the brass knuckles.
Right.
But in the sequel, he's putting in the work because they're both, they're both on the job. They both have something at stake, and they both have to have something to fight for now. And it's just a matter of lining up what that is, because they both have agendas on their mind. French is desperate for money. He's desperate for survival, and Sue, he's trying to save a friend's life. Yeah. Like he's exhibiting the same. He's exhibiting the sort of compassion that he didn't in the first film when French was trying to save that man's life and his daughter. So
yeah, I do like the dialogue scene between them that we won't mention or talk about, go into detail because of spoilers. When they're both in the hotel room,
that was fun.
That was fun.
Very revealing.
It was very revealing. Yes, that's all we're gonna say. It's kind of like, all right, well, that was kind of hilarious, but well done from both guys. But I enjoyed all of the action in the sequel. Just for me, it kind of felt like there were more in the first one, but that's just me. Anything else about the sequel without spoiling anything?
I wanna see Mei Ling Ung in the third film. Mei Ling Ung, she was a co-star in Wonder Woman. She was the main villain in Lady Bloodfight with Amy Johnston.
Okay.
She's a bodybuilder, Singapore.
Okay.
Out of Singapore, and she was also in one of the Scorpion King direct to DVD films a few years back. And what else? That's all I can remember off the top of my head. But I definitely want to see her in the third because she's obviously she's in the sequel. And she's also in the new Suicide Squad film coming out I think in a few days. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, she sort of plays a pivotal role in the Debt Collector too, and I think she would make a great fitting in a third Debt Collector's film if it happens.
Was she Marina Sirtis's second hand?
Yeah, her bodyguard.
Okay. All right.
And
cool.
I especially enjoy how from the first to the second film, there's this underlying system of the way these crime bosses and the way they work. Like it's like everybody has a freaking bodyguard. I think French sort of gets exasperated and says something to that effect. Like in the first film, I think, like, does everybody have a bodyguard?
But
oh, that's right. He says it in the
put you on blast. I'm putting you on blast.
Leave me alone.
He says it in the first film in the bar scene where he takes on Rob Mars. I think that's his name, Rob Mars, who plays a character named Joey. The bartender goes, Joey, and the guy comes out. It's like, Sue, I don't have a problem with you, but I don't know this fuck.
What about the 6'5" parkour guy?
Austin Durden, that's his name.
Dude, what the? I was not expecting that at all. I was like, how huge is this guy? This guy's doing parkour. What the fuck? That was crazy.
Yeah, I didn't know he was really that tall, but yeah, he can move. I've seen.
I
him
just threw a number out there. I'm not sure how tall he is, but
yeah, he does look pretty tall, but
Yeah.
he's great at what he does.
yeah, I was like, holy shit. She's a fan of Louis Mandylor. Haha.
Everybody knows this. Everyone knows this.
I just want to put her on blast because I like teasing her.
This is not news. Okay. This is not newsworthy.
I mean, I can see how you would be a fan of Louis Mandylor. I'm a fan. You know,
I like him too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You realize
Wow.
when the camera's off, I'm gonna get socked right here.
Yeah. Your beard's gonna go over there.
But yeah, both movies we highly recommend. Fans of action comedies. Do these films? We have not seen Stuber. Do these films give you what Stuber tried to?
The Stuber doesn't come close.
Wow.
I mean, it tries its own thing,
Right.
but you know, it's at the end of the day, it's a Hollywood film that makes many of the same goddamn mistakes that most Hollywood films make after the new millennium.
What were some of the mistakes with Stuber?
The shaky cam action, wasted talent. Some of the comedy wasn't that funny. Kumail Nanjiani is great, and Dave Bautista, he's entertaining. He's fun to look at. They both play great characters. They have great chemistry. But for me, in terms of why I would follow that film, not just because it's an action comedy, but because Iko Uwais is in it. I don't get why Hollywood directors would cast a headlining international action star who's made a name for himself and give him this side character that just completely overwrites his talents. Star Wars: The Force Awakens. He's barely there. Mile 22. That was shit. I will never forgive Peter Berg for the rest of my fucking life.
Holy shit!
22. I mean, I wrote like hell to promote that film too, and I had high hopes. That film has a great stunt team, but the filmmaking, the style was formulaic textbook Hollywood garbage.
Horrible.
They completely treated the action like shit. They treated Iko like shit. I cannot forget that. And then you have Stuber. It's the same old. You know.
Yeah.
He got better. Iko got better treatment on Wu Assassins, where he's the star, and the team, the team doing the action, and all the showrunners and directors of each episode. Those people like that know what they're doing. Even though the show itself, it tends to border on sort of campy and at times.
Yeah.
It's still both as one of the best examples of action on film.
Good.
And
I still haven't watched it yet.
Of fans. Wu Assassins?
Yeah, I still haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, check it out, please.
No, I will. It's in the queue. I just got done watching Warrior not too long ago. So.
Warrior the series?
Yeah.
Season 2 later this year.
Woo!
All I need is a date. Give me a trailer already. Cinemax.
I know. I can't wait.
Gangs of London. Come on, Cinemax.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that's the what's it called directed series, right? Garth Ennis?
Gareth Evans was one of the he was one of the directors of that show. Him and two other directors.
I totally botched that. I think I mentioned a comic book artist or writer's name. I said Garth Ennis. I totally botched that. But yeah,
Gareth
great director guy.
Gareth Evers, Gareth Edison's
something. But yeah, I'll definitely check Wu Assassins out. We'll check it out. It's got nothing to do with my girl Lagertha being in it. You know, that's got nothing to do why I want to watch the show.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Let's not talk about people you like. Let's put me on blast. Okay.
It's fun.
Yeah. One of these days, I'm going to present you with a blanket with her face.
That's kind of creepy. I don't want that.
No?
No.
Oh,
Sorry.
well, now I have to.
But yeah, so people that are watching right now and listening to the podcast, don't waste your time and money on Mile 22 and Stuber. Instead, watch the debt collector films. They're a lot more entertaining, a lot more fun, and we, all three of us, cannot wait for another sequel. We need a trilogy. Come on, damn it. Don't let us down.
If not a trilogy, at least give us a Netflix series or something.
Holy shit, a Netflix series. That can work.
I wouldn't say no.
That can work. I didn't even think about that. That can work, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully you just, have still film the action well and have the same team. Maybe Jesse V. Johnson could still be involved, obviously. I heard whatever happened to the rumors of the Yuri Boyka TV show.
Well, that wasn't a rumor. That was an actual trade news report, but I don't think it's going to go through.
Okay.
If it does go through, it probably won't be for a while, and it'll probably be with a new actor and maybe new character or new direction.
Oh no. No.
But this is just me talking. Personally, I would welcome it because Boyka, he's just a character in that universe. That whole franchise started with a character played by Wesley Snipes, and it sort of converged from there to Michael Jai White v. Scott Adkins, and his character.
Nobody remembers that first movie.
Good point.
Well, you know what? If it's badass and the fight's good and the guy does a good impression, why not, I guess? It just kind of seems like...
Or if the characterization and story are good, it doesn't have to be Boyka, per se. It could have, some nods to the character while glorifying... Perhaps, I was hoping, if there was ever a continuation of Undisputed, there would be a female continuation. Because we have so many talented female actresses, like Katie Sackhoff, Amy Johnston, and just so many others out there.
That'd be interesting.
Who deserve the spotlight. That would be.
Yeah.
And and they could definitely bring something to the martial art genre, because it doesn't all have to be a sausage fest.
No.
In my view.
No. We're down for everyone having a shot. As long as they're badass and they work hard and they're talented, we will watch. We will definitely watch. So again, check out Debt Collectors. Was there anything else about the films you wanted to mention before we wrap it up for today?
I think we're good.
We're good? Louis Mandylor rocks and Lagertha rocks, all right?
I definitely want something after Avengement. I want to see how that character continues, if it's possible.
Ooh. Yeah.
If it's possible to build something off of the events of that film with that character, cool. I wouldn't say no.
That could be the new Boyka type character for Scott. He's got his own new series.
Could be.
But yeah, we're going to have to wrap it up. Thanks again, sir. You are awesome. Thank you for joining us on the podcast. We're going to do more of these. We're going to do a lot more. Keep it up. Keep fighting the good fight. Lee,
thank you guys for having me.
You be golden.
For me?
That's golden. Right, you, sir. Yes.
Who's this golden guy? Who's this Lee guy?
But yeah, man, we're going to do a lot more. We'll do a lot more of this in the future because we love talking about martial arts films and action cinema. So peace out, man. We'd like to thank all you badasses for watching and listening to the podcast. We will see you guys next time. Take care.